Okay, I think I'm ready. It was a little chilly. I tossed a sweater on because I had a t-shirt on, and it was cold outside, so it's sweater weather. It's spring. We're gonna be hot, cold, for quite a while. So, all right. If you don't know me yet, I am Rowan Ravenwolf. And I am the owner and founder of Triple Goddess Apothecary and Reiki, and I am doing tarot readings tonight. So in between doing one card readings, I'm also going to be doing fun facts tonight. I thought fun facts for tarot would be kind of fun to do. Well, this little channel grows, so I'm gonna read from whichever deck inspires me, depending on your question. So there's a couple different things you can do. You can ask a specific question, or you can just ask for a general reading, and I'll just kind of go off what I feel the energy is, or what I feel you might need. So I see, hello Jenny, welcome. So I'm going to try to welcome everybody. I hope I don't miss anybody. If I miss you, I sincerely apologize. I don't mean to. So I'm just going to invite a few people. Hopefully I'm not inviting some of the same people that I invited before. So hello, Jenny. If you want a reading, just let me know. You can say general or put your question in the chat. And actually, I have notes, notes all over. So, welcome, Hooded Spirit. Welcome. So, got my favorite decks, because I like to have my favorite decks that I read with handy for when I do readings. So, and I may be inspired to actually pull an oracle deck if I don't pull tarot, but I do call tonight Tarot Tuesday. So, hello. Please don't forget to share the video and give me hearts. Hearts are always good. So at least I like hearts. Our heart is the core of our body. It's our middle chakra. So, hearts are good on many levels. Oh, I have a light that keeps flickering in here. So, kind of freaking me out a little. Like, so if I go light and dark, that's why, because there is this light that keeps flickering, and guess I got to look at that and figure out what the issue is. So that would maybe be a good thing to do. As I was getting ready, it was flickering and kind of freaking me out a little bit, but it is what it is. So hello, White Wolf. Welcome. So I'm very excited to be here again tonight. So if you are new to my channel, I go, yes, I love that, Hooded Spirit. Heart equals earth frequency and how we connect. It is so true. That is so true. So I do love that. Yes. Thank you for sharing that. It is. And like one thing I absolutely love is like connecting with the trees and earth and Mother Nature. And I feel like the trees, they're all heart, right? And they just really, they're so grounded into the earth because their roots go so deep, but yet their branches like extend so high in the sky. So it's like they're literally divine. So they're just the best. So I love trees. I'm a tree girl. So and thank you, Hooded Spirit, for the gift. I appreciate it. So love getting gifts here. So I'm sure everybody loves to get gifts. I mean, we really do. And if you're not aware, so I teach classes, and I also have a website where you can purchase crystals, spell kits, candles. You can actually also book, if you want like your own personal reading, you can book that on my website. Well, guess what? This month is my birthday month. I am an Aries. My birthday is actually Saturday. So this month there is 10% off in my Patreon shop and on my website. Both are actually linked in my bio. And if you're not on my Patreon, and you would like to join Patreon, because there's a lot of great benefits on my Patreon channel, you can join that. And April is 50% off for Patreon memberships. So there is a video in TikTok that gives you the code, but the 10% off code for the shop and my website is April Showers. all capitals. And if you want 50% off a Patreon membership, it's April Showers 25. So tried to make it super, super easy, so it would be easy to remember. So welcome, Liliana. So welcome. So tonight, again, Tarot Tuesday, and I know I've had a couple people coming and going, and welcome so much. And welcome, Rowena. So, and maybe I don't know, I didn't even touch base with my moderator, so maybe he'll join, because sometimes he joins, and it's kind of fun to have him around. All right, so, I'm going to start actually by pulling, where did I put my goddess cards? I thought I had them here. Oh, did I move them? All right, I wanted to pull a goddess card. Okay, I guess I'm pulling a white light oracle. Sometimes divine intervention says if you didn't grab the cards, it's a different oracle deck that we're going to go with. So we'll go with this different oracle deck. I love these ones. So these ones actually kind of give you an idea of what you need to do to incorporate into your spiritual life. So I do love these cards for that reason. So let's see what we need to incorporate this week. What do we need to incorporate this week into our spiritual life? And this is for everyone here for Tuesday Tarot. What we need to incorporate this next week. Ooh, 7 blessings of Eve. Look at that. Isn't that cool? So we have the serpent. And 7 is like really, it's a profound number because we have the 7 chakras. There's the spiritual alchemy. There's 7. There are the 7 hermetic principles. So 7 is actually a pretty intense spiritual number. It's also like really good for wisdom. And guess what? If Eve hadn't partaken of the fruit in the Garden of Eden, our eyes would not have been open. We would not have gotten the knowledge that we have now. So regardless of what spiritual path you're on, our human knowledge is really from that. So we have wisdom. And when we look at this, here's the profound thing is we just had the partial solar eclipse. We've got like this bright sun here. We have this beautiful serpent. We have divine wisdom coming to us. So that's what we are having this week. So that's what we can expect. We're going to learn something that's going to help us grow spiritually this week. So that's our message for this Tuesday Tarot. So how exciting is that, right? Okay, so feel free. If you want a general reading, you can just put general. And I'm going to really pay close attention to the chat because I know sometimes like I miss things. If I miss you, please just repeat. So I'm getting better with it. So I want to welcome everybody. I know I've missed a few people. Welcome Vinny, welcome Gel, welcome Zuki, welcome Bad Wolf. So if I miss you, I'm so sorry. So trying to say hello Terrence. So we've got a lot of beautiful people here tonight. So if you would love a tarot reading, or if I feel like it needs to be an oracle card reading, I will do an oracle card reading for you tonight. It's 1 card pulls. You can put a specific question in the chat, or you can just put general. And then I'll know that you just want a general reading. But while I wait for questions, I'm going to just kind of throw out some fun tarot facts in case you didn't know some of these fun facts. I thought it would be kind of nice. It is April Fool's, so let's do some fun facts, right? So, all right, we're going to jump in. So tarot actually, so this is kind of controversial, but it is believed that it was a game that originated in Italy around the 14th or 15th century. And that it was used as a tool of divination to help with self-reflection and to gain insight, guidance, and wisdom. So why I say it's controversial is because some people believe it actually originated in Egypt. And it's really hard because we don't have a lot of historical information on it. So it is a mystery. And tarot actually does it is a mystery. It's the mystery that we're going to open up to. So that's another little fun fact with tarot. So that one's kind of fun. And I do teach a little bit more about tarot history when I teach my tarot certification course. So if you want to learn how to read tarot, you can. So another really cool thing is you don't have to be psychic to read tarot. However, it's going to open up your psychic channels when you start to read, because you literally are telling the universe that you want to get in touch with your intuition. And so it will open those channels up. You don't have to be a witch or a pagan to be a tarot reader. As a matter of fact, I know a lot of really great tarot readers who, I know one girl who's Lutheran, I know another who's Christian. So you don't have to be be part of a specific religion or a spiritual belief in order to read tarot. So if you're drawn to tarot, it is awesome. It really, really is. So tarot is great. Great to use. Okay, we've got a new one, Hidden Spirit. Okay, what's needed to integrate the new energies, new forms as we've released the old recently? Beautiful question. Okay, so for Hooded Spirit, what is needed to integrate the new energies? What is needed? You definitely need this deck. Okay. Ooh. We got the Page of Pentacles in reverse. So the page is, you've got experience under your belt, but it is a new journey when we're dealing with the page. And like this one has so much going on. So, and again, that is in reverse, but I'm really being drawn to the coin in the middle, right? And when we look at this right-sided, we see down here that we've got this tree, and that tree is really rooted in the earth, really grounded, and we have this owl. We know owls mean wisdom. They're also quite nocturnal. So you're probably going to get a lot of wisdom from goddesses and from the evening and the moon, all right? So that's what we're going to get from this. So with this reversed, you're going to find more grounding coming your way. And you may have messages. You're going to potentially hear owls, see owls, but there's like this wisdom that comes from the owl as a totem. Like it's got like this amazing spirit that's going to just bring you some wisdom and some information. So, and I'm going to actually pull Brent up. We had like an awesome couple weeks ago. We were pulling cards together and it was pretty awesome. So awesome. Hi, Brent.
Error.
So that's a beautiful reading, Hooded Spirit. So yeah, you're going to have a lot of really great integration going on.
I'm just grabbing my decks.
Fabulous. Glad to see you. How have you been?
Oh, existing as usual.
Well, and that's good. Well, we've had so many, like, there's been so many shifts, like, so many cosmic shifts this year.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of interesting energy out there.
Yeah, especially with the Neptune and Aries. My good lord, the first day of that, I was driving on my way home and I drove past the bar and there was a fight breaking out. I'm like, okay, that's definitely Neptune and Aries.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then we had solar eclipse on new moon. We've had it has been even like this year with Venus that went into retrograde back in February. The tail end of February, that was even crazy. Like that brought, it's just amazing. Like that we're dealing with a huge energy shift. Huge.
Yeah, and even like right now, Venus and I think also Mercury together, they're back in Pisces. They're very close to the North Node, and then Saturn, they're actually, funny enough, Mercury and Venus's best friend. He's moving towards them. Venus is retrograde. Mercury's chasing after Venus. The North Node is running away from both of them. So it's just like, it's interesting, but
It is. Yes, Hooded Spirit, a lot of people are feeling weighed down at the moment. Yes, they are. What do they need to find their power again? I think definitely that's a good question, a good general question for the population.
this thing, hold on, I gotta get this thing strapped in. Hold on.
Yeah, oh no, you're good, because I'm going to shuffle and I really feel like I need to do this deck. different decks for different questions. And this one, I feel like the power, the energy is coming from here. And I think that's a great question because yes, this is causing a lot of really interesting energy. I'm even seeing it like, yeah, the things I've seen. Even my regular job, like I can tell like it's making people like lose sight of being balanced. Because I've had people scream at me, and one of my coworkers called me and just said, I need somebody to talk to. And I was like, okay. And they were like, I've taken like 4 people screaming at me. And I'm like, I'm sorry. So I'm like, all right, okay, come on, people, let's stop screaming at others. We need to be nice. But yes, let's see what we need. Yes, it is very heavy. Yeah, I a lot of my clients have been saying they're having physical manifestations too. So I love that question. Hooded Spirit had the question, what do people need to find their power with this energy shift? So I'll pull a card, and then if Bryn feels inspired, he can too. Wow, I got
I'm
2
gonna
of
use
cups.
the first deck I've used, like the first deck, my first deck. This is it.
Yay. So I pulled the 2 of cups. And we've got Leo energy in this one. So and this is based off the Rider-Waite deck, but you can see it's a little bit more vibrant. We need to find like these emotions, we need to get them out. So whether it is sadness, frustration, or anger, but we need to be careful who we're getting it out on. And see, people want to be superstars because we see like the Leo there, and it's that sun energy. And we have so much sun energy right now. This is literally, I'm starting to feel that energy from the eclipse starting to like transmute more and starting to go away a little bit, but we've got all these retrogrades going on. So yes, so we need to let our emotions out, to find our personal power, but there you need to consult with that person that can hear you, and the person that is going to give you that energy that you need and that compassion that you need. So it's really like just one person, doesn't need to be a bunch. We want to keep it toned down. That's what I'm getting here. Yeah, the solar flares have been very huge. So Brent, I don't know if you want to pull because that was a really cool question.
I couldn't do this again if I tried.
Ooh, look at that. No, we couldn't. Yeah, like there isn't. This is a divine. See, we're synced. We're totally synced. We did this last time. Only difference is last time we both had a light blue shirt on.
Now, interestingly, with the 2 of Cups all together, because just how I've noticed how it's usually depicted, usually there is one figure having the cup close to him, and then he's reaching out for the other cup, and the other person has the cup close to them, and they haven't extended it, and they're kind of like guarding it. So, with this 2 of Cups, it's more like be very discerning on who you're letting be involved. Like, have discernment with whom you're willing to give your emotions to and your spiritual and connection with. Be very discerning with it. If somebody is like being too open with it, like if they're trying to pass you something spiritually or trying to make it feel like that they're giving you something too early and too fast, that could be a bit of a red flag, even though technically the 2 of Cups, usually you can see it as like a, of course, really pure loving card, but and also 1 cup, if you notice, 1 cup's higher than the other one by a little bit. That can also be an indication of like somebody having a slight feeling of superiority over another based on their emotions and feelings.
That is just like we could not have redone that. I mean, like, because I pulled this one and mine is more equal and balanced. Yours has just that slight difference. But I mean, how we would never. Yeah, I mean, that's like that it's just over like amazing. And Hooded Spirit was like, yes, it is an LOL out. Yeah. So this is intense. Like we have good synchronicities going on. So,
And then when we add them together, let's see if I can find them. When we add those 2 of cups together, we then get the 4 of cups. So I'm just going to pull that out real quick and
that's a good
analyze
idea.
it. Let me just play Dig Dug to find it. And I believe the 4 of cups is Mercury in Cancer. I believe I might be wrong, but we're going to roll with it. And Mercury in Cancer now, in astrological placements and whatnot, Mercury can handle being in any sign because he's the natural curious planet, but in terms of Cancer, he considers Moon an enemy planet because it's the opposite sides of the mind being put together into one spot. You have the logical mind now with the emotional intuitive mind coming together, which kind of conflicts. So now we have those 2, like we just had those 2 of cups and we add them together, we get that same theme of being aware. But now what's interesting is that one figure is not even looking in the same direction, is looking down like he's hurt.
Yeah.
And you can kind of see like the frown on his face. So that can really be that indication of like,
And what's interesting is like they're both sitting in lotus, but your card, the lotus is up. Yes, so his knees are up, which is showing very closed. Where this one
is more
lotus, but the arms folded over is the closed.
Yeah, it's kind of like how it's more, and he on this one is more.
Yes,
kind of like
yes.
a fetal
It's like I'm going to close everything up.
So it's reaffirming that theme of protecting yourself and not exposing yourself and making sure that whatever is coming in, because the clouds, that's the representation of the air. So being aware of how others are communicating with you in terms of like the emotional sector, or even better yet, taking stock of how you're responding to your thoughts with your emotions. Well, trying to figure out a good way to put that. Being more internal about how you react and to communicate to other people regarding your feelings, or being more guarded and not allow your thoughts to take your feelings and make you try and logically explain, well, I shouldn't be afraid of this. I should be feeling this way. Because the minute that you start saying that I should not be feeling this way, I should be feeling this way, you're pushing down your own feelings and how you truly feel, which is not authentic.
Yes. And then you start like that doubt is not okay. It's like feel your feelings. Your feelings are valid.
Especially the ones that you're thinking like, oh, that's kind of dark. Yep, they're valid. But the main important thing is that just because the feeling is valid doesn't mean that you have to let it consume you. You acknowledge a feeling, whether it's good or bad, and allow it to be and accept it for what it is. But as soon as you have acknowledged it, let it run its course, maintain control, and do what has to be done to get it all out of you. Because if you keep it on, it's like taking water and you're keeping it trapped. When you have fixed water, still water.
Yes, the stagnant water does not help. We don't want to be stagnant. We need to get out of that and that's how we don't heal, and that's how we can't be our authentic selves either. And then it creates more issues. Definitely. That was intense. So Hooded Spirit has another question. Is the golden age, the 1,000 years of peace, coming and just around the corner? I think that's a really good question. And one thing before I even pull the card is that we are in the age of Aquarius. And with being in the age of Aquarius, this is the age that technology is going to expand and grow, but also spirituality is going to expand and grow. And if you look, so a lot of people believe, and I actually believe it too, because I felt like a huge shift. So the Great Conjunction was in December of 2020, where all the planets.
Saturn.
Yep.
In
And
Capricorn, yep.
huge. I mean, that was it. Like that was when we entered the age of Aquarius. A couple people, like there are some people that believe we entered it a little bit earlier than that, but there is a huge shift. And I can tell you, growing up in the 80s, that like the way spirituality was then compared to now, it is growing. Like it's huge. And it's that spiritual growth that is shifting and making people more compassionate and loving. It's a huge shift. Even like just with like I'm watching like my granddaughter, who she lets you know, she's very vocal. Now if I had said like I feel this way when I was her age, like I wouldn't have been validated. And like if you don't validate her, she tells you, you know, and I'm like, good for you, girl. You need to, you know. And she's little, she's 5. So yeah, you know, that's why like I'm like, we weren't validated in the 80s. Our parents didn't half of us were latchkey kids, so our parents weren't even around. But well, half, most of us. But like there's a huge spiritual growth. So let's jump in. And I'm supposed to pull my witch's tarot for this question. So is 1,000 years of peace coming just around the corner?
And now I'm using my Goetia Tarot in Darkness. This is a really advanced deck, and I love it. I mean, I read it in a really advanced way.
I actually have 3 new decks coming tomorrow. I'm very, very excited for. So I'm going to be having fun this weekend working with them.
With who?
I have some new decks coming. I took a class recently. Her name is Jenny, and I'm blanking on her last name, but she teaches in between tarot. She does before tarot, after tarot, and in between tarot, and it just takes you on a whole new level of the cards. And I'm like really, really excited to get her decks. So,
so this is what came out: the Devil, and it's Lucifer. But like I said, the way I read this deck is a way that is completely different, and I don't. Because the way that I read it is, of course, I look at the specific card. Okay, I look at which entity it is. This case is Lucifer, and also like what he's known for, like what specific entity is known for. Like for example, we'll go with that one. Like what Dantelion's known for, being like the infernal psychologist and the infernal shrink, essentially, and also the planetary association. So it would be Venus and Capricorn, but specifically in Capricorn, it would be in the first pada, like the first little section of Shravana, which is also where the last bit of Abjit, and those two, Shravana and Abjit, those are small constellations within Capricorn. And it's funny because I thought I saw somebody come in with the name Capricorn. I thought I just saw that.
Yes, I think we do have somebody in here named Capricorn. I thought I saw that too.
Well, there we go. So, and also, of course, the association with what the planet represents and also with the sign and all that. So, okie dokie. So, Lucifer, well, the first thing that pops into my mind is, well, you have the planet Venus in Capricorn. And since we're talking about the 100 years of the Golden Age, well, Venus is known to be the blind solar deity in Vedic, which is known as Shukra, and he's associated with Purva Falguni Nakshatra primarily, which is which is the heart of Leo. But with this, the 1,000 year of the Golden Age, well, in a way, in order to get to this 1,000 years of the Golden Age, you have to have that enlightened awareness. And in order to get to this enlightened awareness, you have to experience everything on the mundane and all the wishes that you want to experience. But you have to acknowledge that you have these desires in the first place. And to desire for something and to want something so bad isn't wrong. It's not bad. In fact, it's encouraged. Because how else are you going to be able to connect to spirit in the most easiest, simplistic way when you're not enjoying it, because enjoyment is the most simple way of experiencing divinity. So the best way is figure out how you want to experience those 1,000 years of the golden 1,000 years. How do you want to experience it? What do you want to see? What do you want to feel? What do you want to hear? What do you want to taste? What do you want to smell? Be specific. And also then listen. Because when you listen and you take that initiative to listen, that's when you'll realize that it's been here the whole time. You just gotta really ask for it to be crystal clear and be detailed. Because as a planet, Venus is the only planet out of all the planets, even including Moon, Venus is the only pure benefic planet. Meaning that Venus is the only one that wants to provide some kind of comfort and convenience to someone, well, to anyone, at a non-biased level. While other planets favor specific individuals, Venus favors everybody. Somewhat like Saturn too, but Saturn, he doesn't like egotistical people. Venus just loves everybody.
So what's really interesting, I didn't get the Devil, but I got the Seven of Swords. Now, the Seven of Swords, we can look at a couple different ways. First off, we know swords is like a big key of communication. So if you guys were listening to Bren, he's like sitting there. That's why I'm like nodding my head, because I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is why we're so in sync together. So we can look at this a couple different ways. So is he stealing the swords, or is he taking them away because the battle is over? And with this one, I really feel like with where we're going, he's taking it away because the battle's over. It's time for a change. And when we look at Lucifer, Lucifer is the one for a change. The other thing I want to bring up is I have a friend who actually is a Satanist, and Satanism is not as bad as people think. And when I was sitting with her, and I was like, that's the only thing I really haven't looked at in theology. And she's like, oh, hey, let me just tell you about it. So here's the thing, is her practice and her coven that practices, they practice unconditional love. And their thought, and I thought this was so beautiful, is that, when we look at the Bible and you look at where the legend comes from in mythology, God said to his two sons, he said to his son Jesus and Lucifer, I need you to do this, and then come back when you're done and tell me. So they did, right? So when Lucifer came back, he comes back and he's like, Dad, look at this. So think of it as a spelling test, right? I got an A on my test. Can you put it on the fridge, right? He just was so happy. He did what Dad wanted. And Dad was not into, I'm going to give you kudos and pat you on the back. So Jesus comes up, look, Dad, I got an A on my test. I did this for you. Jesus didn't care if it was on the fridge, right? So when I think of Lucifer, I think of that. I think Lucifer was like, hey, you know what? I did it. I accomplished it. And I'm ready to go accomplish something else, where Jesus was like, all right, I'm going to let Dad have credit for this.
Yes. Oh, because that is, now, I have to completely agree with that, because if you have one side doing this and them taking the credit for it and being like, hey, I did this. I worked hard for this. I invested in this. Yeah. And that's also that energy of Capricorn right there, having that foundation of Saturn. Because Saturn, when he works, he wants to work, but then also gain the rewards of his efforts. Yes, and yes. He's big on like, if I put this out, I better get it back. Mm-hmm. I've been in the sawmill going like this. Where's my money? Give it.
It's the balance of energy. And Lucifer was just like, we just need this balance of energy. And if you give and give and give, like, and I'm not saying Jesus is wrong, but Jesus gives and gives and gives. He's not giving back in return. Mm-hmm. So we have someone taking the sword saying the battle is over.
Hmm. Or even better yet, well, I mean, that's a bit different way of looking at it. But that's Seven of Swords also, because I believe that is Mars. Seven of Swords is Mars in Aquarius, I believe.
I believe so,
Think
too,
so.
yes.
Now, Mars in Aquarius, well, since Aquarius does have the energy of Cancer in its behavior, it's not the exact same, but it mimics Cancer. Mars is acting like he's in Cancer, where he's pissed off. So, but it's a more masculine. So it's slightly better, but not the best. But so another way of looking at that card is that essentially the figure is taking the swords and now is like taking them and then trying to, like, say for example, gathering them and then returning them to the families of the soldiers who passed away, possibly. Or he's taken those swords and now he's holding them and keeping them safe, so that way whenever there's a funeral service for those who fell in battle, he's able to then put the swords back.
Yes, so it's not necessarily like when you look at actually Pamela Coleman Smith's drawing, you get the impression that he's stealing the swords. But when we look at this one, it's not really that impression. I mean, he's got a smile on his face, and it's not the sneaky look that Pamela Coleman Smith's has. This is like, look at what I'm doing. And I just saw Spirit, you had a great, she was saying, yeah, moderation is key. Yes, moderation is key. And then she asks, 7 stars, wasn't that Lucifer's crown as well? Boy, I can't remember. I can't remember, but that's a good question. See, now I'm going to have to like dig into some of my.
I mean, with the seven stars, that could be a signification of the first 7 physical celestial bodies that were important. So that'd be the Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn.
Yes.
These are the only 7 planets that are able to see without any kind of assistance from a telescope. So that could possibly be it too. And the 7 stars, the 7 celestial bodies, well, those are the planets back in the olden times that were mainly used in the alchemical process. So yeah.
There's so many, and even like, so tonight I pulled the Oracle card first, and the Oracle card was 7 blessings of Eve. This is the blessings of Eve. So I mean, this was before you logged on, Bren. We have the serpent going into the sun, and we have 7. We've got 7 chakras. We have the 7 spiritual alchemies, the 7 hermetic principles. I mean, look at how much 7 is repeating in the spiritual realm. Mm-hmm. In multiple spiritual beliefs, philosophies, and religions. Mm. And I saw someone said they woke up at 3:30. Are waking up at the, yes, the 7 chakras too. Yes, but somebody's woke up at 3:30. I have a client that keeps waking up at 3:30 too. So that's really very interesting. It is the tail end of the witching hour too. Hmm. Usually when we wake up from those lucid dreams that we're like, whoa, what just happened?
And usually the people that experience that the most is that they have planets in the tail end of Virgo into the early bit of Libra, and then the ending of Libra into the early bit of Scorpio. Those, if you have placements there, depending on the course, which planet it is, and also what time period it is, you'll start to be waking up at 3:30 in the morning, more commonly than normal.
But it's here also brought up that health recycles every 7 years, particularly with allergies. The other thing that goes along with that is if you move to a different place, it takes 7 years for your body to get acclimated to the different climate. Mm-hmm.
And 7 is also the number of the south node, K2. So it's having that more, well, because the south node doesn't have a head, because that's K2. And K2 wants to mainly just go, okay, I don't want nothing to do with the external. I just want to go within and just know the self. so it's more reclusive. But it's also energy that's related to poltergeists, electricity, terrorist attacks. That's K2, because he's not thinking. He's like, meh. Yeah, he just goes meh with everything.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And then, like, because I was like, it was one of Alien T's lives actually at the tail end of last year. And I was like, holy, like, I was just like hit with like, wow, we can combine a bunch of different things together, spiritual things, and they all align with chakras. And it's all these things with sevens. So literally, I have this page where I'm doing layovers, and I'm gonna like introduce it at some point, because like every time I think I'm almost done, another thing of seven comes up, and I'm like, all right, this isn't done. Seven came up again. So
now, honestly, that's making me think. Hold on, that's really making me think. Because I'm also gonna bring that one up too, second. But it's interesting because the card that I showed you earlier of Dantalion, I swear I cannot be making this up. I cannot make it up. So hold on, let me just go.
and here's the thing: seven is associated with spirituality, intuition, and introspective.
Yep, that's K2.
Yeah. And so like, yes. So like, we're just sitting here and it's like, and then actually the book I'm doing for my book club that I'm doing on Sundays, it's the it's Anatomy of the Spirit. And this is the concept of the 7 stages of power and healing. I mean, like everywhere I go, I keep seeing 7, but yes. So now, yeah, there's some profound, like, look at that, Hooded. You got us on like this really cool, like, where our minds are like just wow. Yes, so feel free. I mean, we are chatting, and I just dropped the card. But please feel free if you want a reading, and if you're like inspired, because we're just kind of going. So if you want a general reading, you can say that. Oh, somebody says they see 77 and 33 everywhere. That is really interesting. And see, like, I've had a lot of people like talking to me about threes. I've had several clients that have been waking up at 3:30 in the morning, and a couple students who keep asking me about 3s and 7s. So, oh, there we go. Tina kept saying 777 all day today.
And for the Gratia to Rowan Darkness, this was actually the card that I was talking about, but the other one is this one, which not a coincidence, but the 7 of Swords in this deck is President Gap. And if you notice that there's kings around him, and he's holding the swords like very tough and very like close to him, and the kings are just like, if they're looking up at him like, we messed up, didn't we? It gives that kind of a vibe to it.
I'm gonna pull the 7 of Swords from here. See, now we're on our. Oh, there we go. We've got 7 kingdoms too. Yes, there are 7 kingdoms. Oh, here we go. See, here's this 7 of Swords in this deck. We've got, yes.
I like the bird up there, because like there's somebody down below like trying to be sneaky, and then there's a bird up there that's just like all the way out there.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
That really, because now I know the white crane. I think it's the white crane. I might be wrong. The white crane is associated with, of course it would be, because Shravana's bird is the white crane. I just realized that. And Venus's color is white. That's her assigned color.
So Hooded Spirit, you love the cards. So my favorite deck's the Shadowscape deck. Tonight I'm also reading with Witch's Tarot. And I've also pulled out my Tarot of the Traditions. And then I'll let Bren show his, because like it is real, like it's nice to also see our decks too, because if they resonate with you.
Yeah. Glacier to Rowan Darkness. Tarot Z, which is, I like to call it, definitely not Walking Dead Tarot. Definitely not. I also have with me my Dark Goddess Oracle. That gem.
It was. I took mine upstairs because I was going to pull a Dark Goddess card, and then I was like, "Oh, I took it up," so that's why I pulled the other card. See, I wasn't supposed to pull from that one tonight.
Maybe it was me instead.
Yeah, maybe it was you.
And
I
this,
love Peyton and Barbara's cards, though. All their Oracle decks are awesome.
and I think this. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
And this is I don't remember exactly which tarot deck this one is, but it's I think like some kind of beginner's tarot. I can't remember exactly the name for it. Okay, I've said that one. I said this one. And I also got my...
Start working with tarot, it's hard to not get new ones. Ooh, fun.
Yeah. And I also got my... Definitely not hand stretcher tarot, which is the Diablo tarot because it's huge. So...
I have one of my is it the oh no, one of my favorite decks is the El Goliath tarot. It's all animals. He's from Australia. They're black.
Yeah, I think he's from that one, yeah.
Yeah, so I have the first and second edition because the first edition, the cards, like I have small hands anyway, but like the cards are bigger than my hand. Yeah. And I was like, and everybody was like, the cards are really big. So the second edition, he made the cards smaller and more manageable. That's why, like, I mean, literally they were $100 a deck, but I was like, I'm supposed to have these decks. And he has 98 cards in them. So he goes, yeah, he expands. But the cool thing is his YouTube channel, he literally does like an hour to 2 hours on each card. So, but yeah, his are pretty cool. I'll pull them out for next time. But,
and if you also notice here, the 7777 is Lilith in the Goetia Tarot in Darkness. 77, and she's the Lover's card, which I find very interesting because usually the Lovers is that you have to have other in order to get to the divinity. But interesting how she's depicted is that down below her, there's these two figures down there. And then she's representing that entity that's coming together from that.
I love that card. I work with Lilith. She's one of my goddesses.
I mean, I have
your
own decks that make.
And we need her sometimes. It was like, I need your energy. So, because she has this amazing energy. Like when we talk about Lucifer, Lilith is like one of my favorite. And honestly, like when we're talking about ancient goddesses with massive power, Lilith and Sekhmet.
It's funny you say Sekhmet because I have her tattooed on my lower back. Guardian Ankh. Yep.
Okay, I am a Sasekam Sahu Reiki master. That Reiki comes through the goddess Sekhmet. It's the Egyptian Reiki. And I will tell you, like, I had heard about her and I was like, okay, but my Reiki master was like, oh, and I'm like, yeah, I have to do this. Like, I was like, I knew I needed to do the Egyptian Reiki. Most profound experience I've literally had in my life. Like, and she literally, when she came to me, she's like, you're supposed to work with me and I've just been waiting for you to come to me. But yeah. Oh, and here we've got Azrael jumped. So of course, Azrael will let you up because we're having fun conversations. And even though Bren and I are not wearing matching shirts this time, we're totally like, it's just in sync. Oh, okay. Tina wants more on Lilith. Yes. Oh, do I have her book down here that I absolutely love? I do. I'm going to grab this book real quick because I want, like, ooh, that's a good one. I'm going to grab this one. I have, like, I have bookshelves all over my house. My husband says to me, he's like, why do we have so many books? And I mean, when I tell you I have over 4,000 books in my house, I have more than, like... I think I almost have more than my local library. So, this book is really profound. If you've never taken a class or heard of Michael Herkes, he's actually a witch here in the Chicagoland area, but it's Glam Witch.
No way! I love him.
Right?
Oh my Lord!
Oh, can I just, okay, so last time I saw him, I felt so bad, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, because he is glamorous. He is so beautiful. And he did his hair really pretty, and I'm like, oh, I wish I could be as beautiful as Michael Herkes. But then I realized I'm kind of a tomboy tree girl, so it's not going to happen. So, but this book on Lilith, a must have. I mean, it is a must have. He literally has a whole chapter on working with her astrology. So that right there, he goes into everything. He goes into the numerology. So, and I actually have 2 copies because one copy I read it and it was like falling apart. Ooh, I have that one too.
It's funny you say the astrology. That was right next to me, but
isn't that funny? Yeah. So this one is really great. So Michael Herkes really dives deep into Lilith. Really, really deep into her. Michael Herkes, there we go.
The Glam Witch.
He is he is known as the Glam Witch. He's always teaching a class on WitchCon, and he is always at Hexfest. So, and if you are lucky enough, like Azriel and I here in the Chicagoland area, he actually lives here in the Chicagoland area. So and welcome, Azriel. We'll let you say hello. And see, now I think we caught him where he's like, but I also see Hooded Spirit talking about Hecate. Yes, actually, I love Hecate too. Hecate is an amazing goddess, and the Morgan. I work with Lilith, Sekhmet, the Morgan, and Hecate. They're like my go-to goddesses. I work with a few others, but like they're the ones I work with all the time. So
mine are Hel, Nyx, and Lilith, primarily those 3.
Yeah, Nyx is pretty cool too.
Yeah, for me, a lot of people now usually when somebody. Like, whenever I mention that I work with Nyx, usually people tend to get, like, a little, like, fearful, I think. But ultimately, the way that at least I look at it, it's like you have essentially what's known to be the first primordial entity that pretty much brought in everything else. So why be afraid of the... How many great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmother energy? Like the eldest mother? Why be afraid of the oldest mother? Because everything came from her, so why be afraid of her?
Yeah, exactly. You know, and it's funny because like when I started working with Hecate, I was in a local witchcraft shop, and I was talking to the owner, and she was like, we're sitting here having this conversation, and I was scaring people because they could tell I absolutely love Hecate. And I'm like, why are you people scared? Why are you scared? Like the dark goddesses, they had a descent and went through a horrid trauma, and they were able to ascend and become these goddesses that they are. So if you're going to work with somebody to help work through your spiritual growth, why not work with somebody who knows all aspects?
Mm-hmm.
So, and Tina, I'm not ignoring you. So Tina had a question. What is Lilith saying these days, please? So, you know what? I'm supposed to actually grab my Nightfall Tarot.
I'm going to be using my Milo Oracle and Tarot. Okay.
So just so everybody can see the deck. Go ahead, Azriel, while I shuffle.
Oh, I'm burning an incense. I was actually working on my taxes. I forgot about it.
I was working on mine last night, so I missed Alien T's live. Stupid tax season. My husband's like, being from Europe, like you don't have to file taxes. Like what's taken out is what you're supposed to pay. So there's no returns or owing, you know?
Yeah, I owe $255. It's not a lot, but I work so much to owe money. It makes no sense.
Right.
All right. So I'm burning a clarity incense. Oh, I don't know.
Hi, Linda.
Hi, Brett.
What are you doing in my swamp?
I'm also doing some with my incense as well too. Some dragons.
I was gonna light some sandalwood and didn't.
I was actually, you know what? Forget it. Hold my wine glass. I'll light some black
Yeah,
orchid.
actually, I need because I was going to actually
That's
do it, and then I don't even know why I didn't. So
Yeah, I got all types of stuff I pick up from the shops. I was telling somebody, we got so many shops here. It's like literally going on a scavenger hunt. There's so many things. But the one you were talking about, the individual, is that the one up in the north side
Michael Herkey,
when you were talking about Hecate?
he's in about the Rogers Park area.
Yeah, so that's our friend. I know
Yes,
who that
because
is.
you were
Yeah, every time we
you were with me one time when he came in when we were at the yes because I had introduced you to
yeah,
him and
yeah,
Chris.
yeah. So I've been there a couple times, and then every time they go in there, people are different. With me and you, our energy is a lot different, than a
Yeah.
lot of those people there. And everybody's usually asking for spells and all type of stuff.
Yep. Yep. All right. So, Goddess Lilith, I call upon you. What is the message you have for us?
I also work with Hecate as well too. And
Look at this. I mean, like tonight's like interesting. I got the 5 of Swords and it's reversed. So this is Lilith's energy this is a huge shift. She's telling us about the shift and that we're supposed to walk away from the damage that's been beneath us. So it's time for us to heal that and walk away. Brent, I don't know. What did you get? I know we were going to both pull for Lilith.
Mm-hmm. Getting this orchid incense going. Come on.
Yeah, so Tina's asking again. So with this particular one, it's a walk away. When we look at this, when we look at everything that's going around, we're in our darkest. We have that darkest is grounding us. So when we're down here, the darkest is grounding us. We need to get out of that trauma. We need to start getting into that healing energy. We need to be ourselves. That's like what she's trying to get across to us.
Oh, maybe myself.
And let's see what Bryn's pulling too.
Wow. So the oracle is, look at that, solitary.
Oh wow.
And you notice how she's just like walking away,
Mm-hmm.
floating away. Solitary, and then the tarot, which is called consolation, which is imagine that, the lover's equivalent. And how both was the lover's card in the Goetia tarot. Imagine that. So it's definitely a vibe of, if somebody is not giving you that fair treatment, kudos, away we go.
Yep.
No. We don't need to be wasting time on someone that is clearly not aware of what you're bringing to the table. And even though it hurts, having the respecting of the self is much more important than trying to meet somebody on their own high horse standard, which doesn't even have any kind of importance anyway.
And that's a message, I think, for everybody right now. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And solitary doesn't mean to be cutting yourself off, but it's like standing alone on what is right for you and what you resonate towards. And when you are doing that, you're automatically putting yourself in a way that's authentic. Because you're choosing yourself in the solidarity. And even if you choose to do something that will have other people involved, if you're choosing that, you are choosing yourself. Mm-hmm. But in this case, with these two cards that came out, is that if somebody's not giving you that equal level eye-to-eye treatment, prioritize yourself first and then move forward on making sure that you're priority number one over whomever this other individual or entity is, and let them just sit alone on their high horse and give them a little bit, and hopefully they'll come to. If not, they'll mess with them.
And I love this comment that Hooded Spirit gave us. That's a powerful message, which it is. And letting go of many societal egregores. Yes, because there are a bunch out there right now, and we need to shift them. We completely need to shift them.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And welcome, Linda. Sorry, we got we're in the zone. Please feel bad.
I'm all in it. So I'm agreeing with everything right here. So
that's one thing. I love this spiritual community. Azrael's you got to go live on TikTok. You got to go live on TikTok. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so I did. And it took me, and he was like, you got it. But he was 100% right about this spiritual community. It is a very beautiful community. And even when maybe some of us may be I'm not sure I quite believe that, it's not like a judgmental argument coming out. It's I still respect you, and I respect your opinion and how you presented it, and I love that.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And many beautiful, beautiful people. So those who are not, if you're new here, please make sure you follow us. And Azrael, what are you showing us?
I wanted to show you this because it's hard to get, but our buddy, the one you were talking about, this is Hecate incense. When you work with Hecate, that he sells out right away. And I had a little oil somewhere I wanted to show you, but I don't know what's happening. Yeah, but I work more with Hecate than Lilith, so
I work with
I just wanted to show you this.
Yeah, go ahead, Linda. You were saying you work with
multiple deities. So
yeah, I do.
I work with Hecate, Lilith, Persephone, Hades, Fenrir, Loki, and Bastet.
I work with Loki too.
Yeah, because I love working with Loki because the chaosness right there and the playfulness and all that. That's what I get from him. So I always give him offerings too, dragon incense and all. So I like working with them.
It's so fun. It's so funny she says Bastet because that's the other one that I have tattooed with Sekhmet on my lower back, guarding the Ankh. Imagine that.
We're all connected.
Yep.
It's a synchronicities.
Mm-hmm.
So, Tina, what do you want to know about Hecate? Boy, we could. I actually literally just every month I teach a workshop that's usually 3 to sometimes up to 5 hours long, and they're always on a Sunday because of the time. But yes, I just did do the workshop, so I do a high overview of a lot of the dark goddesses. So. Oh, okay. Hooded Spirit has actually a question. Can anyone tell me who's around me working with me as I don't know? What? You have your goddess cards, Bren. That's what's supposed to be pulled.
Mm-hmm.
Since mine are upstairs.
I also like working with Fenrir so much because he's really cool. And I also like wolves so much. I'm highly attracted to wolves. So
I want a pet wolf.
Same. It would be cool.
My husband just looks at me when I say that every time, shaking his head.
I mean, it's a wolf dog, but it's not close to a wolf. But that's a hybrid between a dog and a wolf.
Yeah, and most of the dogs that I love, except pit bulls. Pit bulls don't really look like wolves, but I love German shepherds, and I love huskies and Malamutes.
Oh yeah, they're closer to wolves. Yeah, they're closer to wolves almost. Yeah.
Well, and the cemetery Azrael and I go to, there is the coyote there. He's a big boy. He gets good eats there.
Ooh.
And the closest I've gotten was 30 feet, and he wasn't scared. I wasn't scared. It was more we had this, I respect you. and cool. You know, and he knows I think he's awesome. So, because I'm like, how you doing?
Yep. I went to this one zoo in Virginia with my cousins and my grandmother, and we went to see the wolves as well too there, and we saw the maned wolf that looks like a fox, but it's actually a wolf, but maned like a lion, but
Yeah.
not very much. And it was hiding, right? My grandma was like, "Come here, little guy," and then it came out. I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "Oh my gosh!" It's
Okay, Hooded.
really,
Now, Hooded. Pick number 1, 2, or 3. Whichever one. 1, 2, or 3.
Okay, she said 2.
Oh, would you look at that? Look who it is. Hi, dear. Yes, it's Lilith.
There's a
ooh.
reason we're talking about her.
You called.
She does comes around when we talk about. That's what I believe in. When we talk about deities, they do come around.
You called.
I'm just going to throw this up again. Glam Witch by Michael Herkes.
Ooh.
I literally own 2 because, like I said, the first one I thrashed. This is my newer edition, so it looks new because my other one is literally falling apart.
I
And when it
have a
comes to
lot of books.
Lilith, when it comes to her, at least with me, because with her, she is unique to every single person. She's not going to be the exact same to everybody else. She's going to be completely different for each individual person. One would say that she's very cryptic, very evasive, but very thought-provoking. Some say that she is nurturing, caring, and like a supportive mother. Some would even say that she is a bit pushy and a bit demanding. But again, it all depends on you.
Yes, it does.
And for the best way to bring her towards you is this is where it's important to be careful with with your word choice and how you say things. Inviting her versus calling out to her to come. When you invite her, you're giving her her voice. And when you give her her voice, she acknowledges that because her voice and her right were being silenced by Yahweh. So when you give her right to choose, it's that small little thing makes a huge difference. I can't even describe it. So offering the opportunity for whichever, like even if you're doing spell work, if you're inviting her to come in, if she wants to come in or not, either way, if that invitation's out, if you approach her that way consistently, that small little thing can make a huge difference. And I'm already getting chills, completely chilled all over the place.
She is literally empowerment.
Mm-hmm.
And when you are lacking in empowerment, like if you're a people pleaser, she will help you learn to empower. And again, it's going to be individual. And just like Bryn said, you have to just make that an open invitation and not require her because she's going to come to you how she's supposed to come to you.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that she because being clairaudient, the way that I hear her communicate with me, and sometimes she just decides just to come and like, I'm going to speak. Yes, ma'am. Okay, go ahead. But the way that she speaks towards me is more along the lines of, love, why are you doing that stupid thing again? Oh, no. I mean, just keep doing it. Just keep doing it, love. No, 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 no. Just keep doing it. Are you done yet? No? Okay. I'll be over here. Just let me know when you're finished. You're done? Oh, good. Don't do that again. So, why are you letting these people do this to you? Remember that whole thing of like, well, I don't like it when you do this to me. How come you're not doing that? I mean, I get it. Other people's feelings, yeah, they matter too, but you too. Oh, kind of like that tone.
Yeah. And if you're not too familiar with working with goddesses and you're like, how do I do this? Especially if you're being called to different goddesses. like I'd worked with, because I grew up in a Christian cult, I had way too much patriarchy. So I'll work with Cernunnos and Loki. But other than that, I'm like mainly goddesses because I like need to balance my masculine and femininity. There and actually this book is directed at working with any deity. It's Chris Allen and it's Allaun. He is also a witch here from Chicago. And he teaches a lot of classes online, and he actually goes to a lot of the pagan festivals around the United States. But his book, The Upper World, I went to a workshop he did based off that book, and he will guide you, and I cannot remember which chapter it is, but he guides you into finding out how you're supposed to work with the specific deity. And the deity will let you know, hey, I'm your mother deity, I'm your father deity, I'm your uncle, I'm your aunt, I'm your sibling. And each deity does show up differently for different people. So somebody may say, oh, Hecate is my mother goddess. She's like a mother to me. She might be like a sister to somebody else because they do show up in our lives where they're supposed to and how they're supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Just
Although at times too, you can also sometimes see at the core, there's like this core theme to each specific entity. Like, for example, hell is one of them. Because, well, with her core foundation is along the lines of, you human? Good enough. I don't care about anything else. You're human? Okay, you can come into hell. But I did all these. You're human? Get in. Okay. She's very accepting. But accepting doesn't mean that she is going to allow you to still do stupid stuff. Because she's the kind that will just tell you to your face, okay, the more jackassery you keep doing, the more likely you're going to land on your face. So stop it. Like she's to the face with it.
What's so funny is like my ascended spirit guide, she's a nun. And I'm like, how did you choose me? Because ascended spirits choose you. But it's funny because like I can literally feel her shaking her head sometimes when like Lilith and Sekhmet are like, go girl. So,
is it one of the canonized saints or?
Yes, she actually is Sister Catherine, the canonized saint from France, and she's in France. I can't remember which cathedral she's in France, but yes.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, she's talking to you right now, isn't she?
Well, because I've worked with Saint. I've worked alongside Saint Martha, Mother Mary, Our Lady's sister. If you want to know feisty and like, yeah, she will tell you, you're not doing that again. Yes, ma'am. What? This man's not behaving? Listen, kid. Very no nonsense.
They are no nonsense. And what is really interesting for me with Sister Catherine is if like I've had a few people who are like, will you come cleanse my house? And if she shows up and it's like a snap, it's almost like she's giving me a whoop in the butt. I know I'm not supposed to cleanse that person's house because it's going to be really dangerous. And she's done that a couple times. So, you know, and when I do house cleansing, it's because they've got something negative at their house. And we'll just go with something as the word. So.
When Lilith came to me, I had this moon witch oracle deck, and it had like all like few goddesses on there, Hecate and few others, including Lilith in there. I was just shuffling in, minding my own business, and Lilith card kept on flying out. And I looked down, I'm like, huh? I did it again. Lilith came out. And I was talking with my friend about it, and she's like, oh, Lilith wants you. I'm like, oh. Divinated, and I started working with her too. Then after that, Persephone was my first deity during my first path. And then here comes Hades coming around the corner. Because they both in the same dimension. So in the underworld.
They're husband and wife.
Mm-hmm. And I look at them as my parents. I look at them. They give me parent vibes for me. So I look at them like, oh hi, how you doing?
And also speaking of Persephone, I think this is just me, but I think Rona, I think you might know this better than Linda. Have you seen like one of the early '90s ish Batman movies with Poison Ivy?
Yes.
That is how I see Persephone.
Ooh.
You know what's funny that you say that? That's how I see her too.
Oh
Like
yeah.
that is
I
like.
can see that. I can see that.
Mhm.
I can see that.
Yes, definitely, because especially when she comes up and spends time with her mother, Dimitri.
Uh-huh.
When she comes up from the underworld, that's when it is the Poison Ivy character.
I can see that.
Mm-hmm. And you know, when you're doing healing work, Persephone is one of the best goddesses to work with. So if you really, really need to heal from trauma, her descent story and her ascension story is mind blowing. And then you're going to see that connection with Hecate, whichever way you want to say it. I say it both ways. But
Same.
she is amazing to work with. So if you are working on a healing path and you're like, I need to heal whatever that trauma is that you need to heal, she's one of the best goddesses to work with on that. But please make sure you do your research first and then kindly ask her to help guide you through it. And she will do it. She'll literally hold your hand and say, all right, let's go. We're going to do this. She's a fabulous goddess for that.
And she's and and I think too, funny enough, I think it's also, if I'm remembering correctly, not only did she also have that thing with Hades, but also she and Aphrodite had that fight over Adonis.
Yes, I believe they did have the fight over Adonis.
And so the way that Zeus handled it, he handled it this way. Okay, so Aphrodite, you'll get him during spring and summer, and Persephone would get Adonis during winter and fall.
Yeah.
So it's like she descends as Adonis, and then when it goes around like that.
Yep.
But I can definitely Persephone though, she does have more of similar to Hell, but Persephone's more like finding the value in and the beauty in what's dead, what's passed away. And like for example, I would say that Persephone would really adore, I'm gonna mispronounce it, but Los Dias Muertos, Day of the Dead. She would probably, if not, enjoy that the most, because as you see with the shorter shows, they're covered in flowers and like that, which that fits her perfectly. Hell's the same way.
Yeah, and I also envision her just making red flowers pop up everywhere in the underworld, whether they're poppies or roses or carnations. Like, I see that with her.
Very much so. Me too. I see her with pink flower, dark pink flower too, as well. And her holding the pomegranate as well.
That's her power. So fabulous. I see Hooded has a question. When will my property sell? You know, I'm going to pull Ella Normand for this one. Yeah, Tina, we're both remembering. Bren and I are both remembering Adonis is spring and summer, and Persephone is winter and fall.
So that you might have to double check that, but
yeah,
those two, they went at it when Persephone was going after Adonis, and then Aphrodite was not having it. She was just all, well, if she's getting Adonis, then nobody's going to get love. Meanwhile, in Olympus, there's Zeus and Hera just laying there. Out of nowhere, Zeus just says, you know what? I don't like you, woman. Neither do I, you stupid man thing. Why do you need to stick it everywhere? Yeah.
Okay, this has been a night of sevens. So the Lenormand card I pulled for you, Hooded Spirit, on when will your property sell? We have letter, okay, and this is the 7 card in Lenormand. So this can mean 7 days, 7 months, 7 weeks. All right. And how I know this is definitely related to your property is its letter. Letter can mean a contract. So the contract will be 7 days, 7 weeks, or 7 months. It's not going to go into years. You don't need to worry about that. It's days, months, or days, weeks, or months. But yes, we have, and this is a beautiful card to get for that because of the fact it is letter. It's literally saying this is the time frame for you. So you're welcome. I love my Lenormand.
Yes.
Lenormand can give us really great clarification. You know, sometimes we need tarot, sometimes we need oracle, and Lenormand is a form of oracle cards too.
Yeah, I do both, like tarot and oracle as well too. I like using both.
I do too. I like when I do hour readings for people, I'll do like a Celtic cross, and then I do a Lenormand spread for them to expand upon it. I just get really great readings for people that way.
Yeah, during this whole entire week, I've been divinating on myself as well about what my path is going to look like if I work with the dark divine feminine. Because I've been lured in for that more, going
Right.
This
into
is
that
also
direction.
Okay, Bran got a card for Hooded too.
Ooh.
Ooh,
another 7.
another 7.
This is the 7 of Cups, but now with this version from the Tarot Z, or definitely not Walking Dead Tarot, by any chance, is your property part of, like, say, an estate, or it was a family property, meaning it was inherited? Or is it anywhere somewhere where there's a cemetery or a burial ground, or somewhere where there's someone passed away or something passed away?
Yeah, I saw that. Like when you held the card up, the thing that drew my eye was the headstone.
The headstones, but then you also see the building in the back.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And the figure, if you look, you can see has a scroll rolled up, and he's holding onto it.
We've got the letter and we've got the scroll. There's your contract for the sale of the house. But 7 is showing up. I mean, like synchronicities.
Or better yet, ask for your ancestors in help of selling the property, or helping you
There
get.
we go. It's 100 acres in the mountains. We have Aboriginal mob spirits here.
Mm.
That's what it is. That's intense. Because a lot of times when we're reading our cards, doesn't matter if it's Oracle, Tarot, or Lenormand. Well, Lenormand's a little different because Lenormand is usually just one symbol on the card. Where your eye is drawn, and I teach this because Azrael can account to this because he's taking classes from me. Where your eye is drawn, that is our intuition coming through. So, like before Bren even said, is this ancestral? Did someone die here? Or, unalive. I saw the headstone and I was like, all right, this has something to do with the headstone. But see, like the Lenormand, we don't get that intense because we just see letter.
And this was the card that was on the bottom of the deck. 7 of Pentacles.
Wow.
And what's funny is that in this 7 of Pentacles, all you see is just the man. And he has, like, suffered an injury to the head. But he's walking just fine. I mean, he's clearly injured, like he survived out of a car accident, but that can also be, like, possibly, if there's a spirit that or an ancestor that suffered a brain injury to, or suffered some kind of trauma to the head, maybe they will be able to help you with this property and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Or, now this is again, be very aware. Double check to make sure that you have good brain health and being able to comprehend things clearly and being able to think clearly. Because Seven of Cups originally is a card of like, holy snapple, that's a lot of things. I don't know which one to grab. And with this, that's showing make sure that you're able to think completely clearly and to make sure that you're having good brain health. So having these necessary vitamins, minerals, and nutrients for the brain to be functioning properly also. That's what I get from that.
And look at that. Azrael's given us a 7. No,
Yeah, so
I don't know if
I'm throwing it up there and dramatic to it.
and I'm 7,000 likes away from hitting 10,000. So let's hit this like button.
Tap, 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 everybody, tap.
and and actually, while we're talking about that, please make sure you follow all of us. Make sure you, because like we're a great group of people. I'm not being biased at all.
But yeah, I'm really interested in working with the dark feminine. So, been interested.
Yep, it's really just finding what you resonate towards. Because I mean, there's so many, especially goddess energies that are not really approached. Like for example, Melone, who is actually another dog. Well, depends on which variation you look at. She's the daughter of Demeter, and she was violated by Poseidon. And that version of Melone, she has a horse's head with snake hairs. Then there's the other variation where she's the daughter of Hades and Persephone, and she's the one that is known as the goddess of nightmares and night terrors, but is also of spirits, ghosts, and the deceased. And she's known to be like half dark and half light, kind of like hell, but one side is alive and the other one is dead regarding for hell, but it can be either or. And but for me, one goddess that I've started working with and getting more familiar with is actually Persephone's sister, Dysphonia, the goddess of winter and the snow. Yeah. So it's like and also if you are drawn to a goddess or a spirit or an entity that is not really given like a lot of reference point, maybe you might be the one that helps bring them back into the scene and start getting them to be revert again. And I mean, if you're working with a spirit or an entity that has been forgotten, you're helping keep them, metaphorically speaking, alive.
Yes.
And if you keep a spirit alive, well, I mean, it's kind of like, it's like when you like go, this is going to be a weird analogy, but when you go to like the pet store and you see like a litter of puppies and everybody keeps taking all the other ones except this one, the runt, and everybody takes everybody else. But when somebody chooses that runt, that little one will be so attached to the owner that like literally that dog will put itself in harm's way for you. But that's just like how much that of a strong connection you'll get choosing, well, I don't want to say the underdog because that'd be a bit of a pun, but choosing the ones that are commonly just overlooked and going towards the ones that are more mainstream. So
it's funny that you say that, Bren, because when we've gotten dogs or cats, I always go for the runt. I never go I've always gone for the runt. And actually, the last runt we got was when we got our pit bull. I don't have him anymore. He's passed, but he was the runt. And actually, his sisters, because he was the only boy in the litter, and they picked on him so bad that he was lucky if he got food. And he was teeny, but when I put his paw on my hand, his paw was as big as my hand. Like, we're bringing you home. You're going to be a big boy. And he was extremely protective of all of us.
Yep.
Sweetest dog in the world, but and he actually stole my daughter's cat stuffed animal. And every night for bed, he would she finally gave up. She's like, I don't get this stuffed animal. It's his now. And he didn't play with it. he would sleep with it. He would grab it in his mouth, tuck it like right under his neck, and sleep with it. And then in the morning, he would go put it on my daughter's bed, but take it at night. So it was only supposed to stay on her bed in the day.
Oh, that's nice.
Binky, that's the little Binky.
Yep. Yeah. It was. And when he was 106 pounds, he was still sleeping with his cat. I had to sew the head on. I came home one day because he would slobber on it, and so the head got like slobber. So I had to sew the head on for him, and it was so funny. He like literally kept taking the cat with to my sewing machine because he knew I fixed things. I'm like, all right, I'll fix it, but this isn't the sewing machine job. And he was just so like, it was just really cute, cutest thing in the world. You know, our fur-legged friends. They're our children, and they have like beautiful personalities. But yes, he was the runt of the litter. I don't know how big his sisters ended up being, but he ended up being a big boy. So
Animals sees the beyond the veil as well too.
they do. They do.
How I noticed that, I was walking in my bathroom, and my cat was meowing at something behind me. There was something behind me, and I didn't see it, and she meows. And I'm like looking at my cat, like, who's behind me? Who's it there? You know? And she kept on meowing at the figure that's like right next to me that I couldn't see. So I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's why we see a lot of cats in ancient Egypt. Because the cats would see the spirits. So that's why, yeah, if you do any research into ancient Egypt, you understand.
And we figured you said that because I'm working with Bassett.
Another one with cats. I have actually. I found I'm in a group of people who work with Sekhmet, and somebody had posted a picture, and one of her statues in Egypt was covered in yellow cats. Like these random yellow cats all went and were just hanging out by the Sekhmet statue, and I'm like, yep, there's messages we can see.
Yep, I love working with Bassett because that's why my cat always comes in my room all the time. She comes in my room, like, she just relaxes somewhere around my room. Sometimes she climbs up to the table to sniff Bassett's offering I gave her, which is catnip. And she always sniffed that. I'm like, no, that's not for you. That's for Bassett. I can always put some more in your toy, you know. Put some in your toy, but that's for Bassett.
So I want to do a huge shout out to Hooded and, oh goodness, to Hooded and Tina for helping with reaching my goal tonight. Thank you so much, ladies. I appreciate it. So, and thank you to everybody who has given gifts to everybody up on panel. We really appreciate it. And I'm here every Tuesday doing tarot readings, and as you can see, we get derailed. It's okay, because sometimes we're supposed to help with that. We're supposed to help you on your spiritual path.
Right.
Go ahead, Azrael.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, you know, we're supposed to be able to darn it, bond together. You know, we can teach, we can observe, and we can also bond and have, you know, something in common, you know. So, you know, I just want to say, you know, as well, you know, for those individuals too, you know, you can find mentors or friends or somebody that actually work with them. And that's the best way, you know, the best way you get hands-on experience, you know, just like myself, you know, I have Rowan as a friend, and I've been, you know, several places with her, and we're like a skip and a hop away, not too far away.
Yes, and it ends up being a very small world. Especially like if you're new in the path and you're like, oh, you know, I can't find anybody in my area, you would be like, as soon as you start working your path, everything falls into place. So I know, like, Scott Cunningham said it, if you're into witchcraft, and it's his book Wicca. He literally says in there that when the time comes, if you're supposed to be in a coven or if you're supposed to have a teacher, they will come into your life when they are supposed to.
Yes.
And it's very, very true.
Most definitely. Because in the past, when I first started on my path, a lot of people I ran into, they have to see me a certain amount of times on the down the road, but then until I found more people who was like more into the community, who was willing to help me throughout it, and look how much I grown. To be honest, as I look back, I'm like, look how much I grown after that. Like I went to level to level to level to level. I'm like, gosh. But I go by the eclectic path. That means I can branch out to different transitions, different magic, all that.
Yep. Yeah, I call it myself more traditional, but a traditional is the same thing. It's just like eclectic. We branch out. We can take what serves us and not use what doesn't. And I did want to, like Hooded Spirit just put in this beautiful comment, and I want to make sure everybody on panel, if you didn't see it, thanks heaps. You are all gorgeous souls. So we might not be glamorous, but we're gorgeous. We're gorgeous.
Thank you, Hooded.
Yes,
Thank you,
so much,
Hooded.
Hooded.
I'm just
We really
me.
appreciate that.
Just me being me. That sounds kind of a bit weird, but yep, I'm just me. That's all I can say.
Yep.
Most likely I'll say I'm a chaotic gremlin.
It's fun, man.
It's fun. So again, I want to just remind everybody, please make sure you follow Bren, Azriel, and Linda and myself. And in case you didn't know, I do have a little video up. I have a beautiful, I worked really hard on my website, but I have a beautiful website where you can purchase, I make oils, I make candles along the witchcraft path. And I do customs too. So if you see something and you're like, I need this, I do customs. Not a problem, but it's my birthday month. It's actually my birthday on Saturday. I'm really excited. And so for my birthday month, you get 10% off on my website and 10% off on my Patreon store with April showers. And that's for the whole month. Because you know what? Let's just make it a party this month. We'll start with the Aries and end in Taurus.
Yeah.
April showers is the code, right?
April showers is the code in all capitals. Thank you, Hooded. And I love the picture, Azriel. I love Gandalf.
You shall not
He's
pass.
always in the end of my videos. The most of my videos, you know, when I do the promos, that's the one I use. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Because so Azriel and I, honestly, I think it's both our favorite cemetery. So the Druid Monument, looks like Merlin or Gandalf. But you know what else? It also could be Odin.
Oh. Speaking of Odin.
See, that's why I wanted to say that because being Odin will be the reason the other ones got. Remember, I was telling you that they guided me, and I had an Odin ring, and I had the Odin ring for 2 weeks, and after 2 weeks, it was gone. I don't even know where it went, so it just like disappeared. So it served this purpose, or maybe they saw me not worthy. I don't know. I just don't know. But yes, I was very, very trying to connect both of Odin with the Druids. I just didn't understand the connection.
So part of the connection can be, so archaeologists have found Celtic knots in ancient Egypt. So the thought process is believed, one of the theories is believed that the Celts actually started in Egypt. And when you go to ancient Rome and ancient Greece, you can see Celtic knots all over there. So we know they crossed the Mediterranean. They moved their way up through Central Europe. And so when we are starting to get into the Germanic tribes where we have the heathenry magic and the Nordic magic, we see some of that. We see a correlation. So archaeologists found, and this is actually pre-Viking, found some of the Germanic tribes made their way to Ireland. And then from there, the Celts went through Scotland down into England and into Wales. So there is a crossover. And when you actually start looking around the world, there is a huge crossover in magic. Like when you look at the colors we use, when you look at how we work with the elements, there's a huge crossover. And when you're looking at different deities and different pantheons, there's a crossover. So it can be very like, so when you start looking at historical and archaeological data and then you move that in with your spiritual path, it's pretty profound. I'm like a huge geek, like seriously, like I love reading, so I'm constantly reading.
Mm. I had my own experience with Odin one time. So what happened between me and Odin? So this one time I was asleep and I was in a dream space, right? And it was all dark out in the dream space. I see a man with a hood, had a beard as well, just like Odin. So I was like, okay, where am I at? You know? Saw two doors. One door was open, two doors was open. So one door was open and it showed like how much I want to leave and don't give a heck about how people talk about my path. And there's one that says like embrace my path. And I went to the one to embrace my path and all that. And don't let no one criticize me because I'm the way I am. So I closed that door and I went in the other one. And that's exactly what Odin said in my dream. Pick a door. And I picked the other door and closed the other one. And I was like, Odin, why are you in my dream? And I divinated on the dream and it confirmed it was him in my dream. And then I had another Norse brother as well, who was into the Norse mythology as well, and he has been working with the gods in the Norse pantheon as well. He did a rune reading for me. Guess who was coming in through that rune reading? Odin.
Did you get the Odin runes?
Yes, I did. And it was him who was coming through. And my brother was like, he's coming through for you right now. He wants you to know something. Maybe even work with him too. But I was like, but I have Loki. I can't put them together because I don't want a war going on in my room.
Yeah.
Because if I have a war going on in my room, I'd be looking around like, okay, no. But some people say you can work them separately.
You can, and it doesn't, and you just need to work with them individually to see how, if they're willing to work together or if they just need to be worked individually. I mean, each deity is going to be different and how they come to you will be different.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to just throw it out there again for anybody who, like, I learned so much from Chris Allen, but his name is Chris Allen, Allaun. His book is called The Upper World. This book is really profound and will help you. He's got, I think his 6th book is out now. I think it's book number 6, but he's a fabulous teacher. He's also here. He's actually very, very good friends with Michael Herkes. So he is here in the Chicagoland area. We have a lot of great witches out here, Azrael.
Yeah.
A lot of people just don't know that. There is so many, especially since we got the Theosophical Society, which is, that one place, and then a lot of people do connect there. But, like I mentioned earlier, here it's like a freaking scavenger hunt. There's just so many things out there. And it's funny that you mentioned everybody knows everybody, because it's true. You can have different groups and different stuff, but you know what? You'll be surprised how people know each other here. A lot of people know each other, especially in the witch community.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Most definitely. Yeah, it is amazing. So I do want to just throw out there so everybody kind of knows, I go live on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sundays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. That's 8:30 Central, 7:30 Mountain, and 6:30 Pacific Standard Time. So I'm really excited for Thursday. So for the next 9 weeks, I'm going through the planets and planetary magic. And this week is the moon. Last week I did the sun. If you missed last week, you are welcome to, you can go to Patreon, because I'm posting it in Patreon and my YouTube channel. Unfortunately, like my Patreon and my website is in my bio. So if you're not following me, you can go there. So they will replay there. But yeah, I'm really excited to talk about the moon. The moon is like a fun one to talk about. So, and for those that don't know, I do Witchy Book Club. And that is on Sundays. That's the Sunday Live where we're discussing, the book I'm discussing is Anatomy of the Spirit. And it will be chapter 2 this week. So it'll be literally all of April and May. We're just doing a chapter a week. This book, I'm glad I'm doing it that way because this book, there's a lot to learn. And this book will really help you. It's literally called The 7 Stages of Power and Healing. And it's using intuitive medicine, working with the Jewish Kabbalah tree of life, the Hindu chakras, and the Christian sacraments. And it's a really great book. So do you see 2 moons at the moment? I'm inside, so I'm not seeing 2 moons, but you know what? We can pull a card on this. And then there was a question for you, Azrael, in there. It's, is your icon the Kabbalah tree of life or something else?
The one that's up there, I kind of when I heard you say it, it's something else. It's similar to the tree of life, but it's actually a yin yang tree of life. With the unalive side on the other side. So it's a universal tree. Look, this was actually gifted to me from somebody from St. Charles, Illinois. It was this is actually made on ivy and it's etched. It's etched in like what do you call it? Like a dollar bill. If you know how the artwork from a dollar is. So
Yeah.
they gave it to me. It's an ivy. It's actually a brooch. It's a pin. So you can put it on your shirt. You can put it on your hat. You can put it anywhere. Yes. You know. But this I chose this icon because the same scenario. Ever since I've been going to the Druids, it leads me to places where I find stuff where I gift it, and you know what? When we were talking about Odin earlier, out of curiosity, I wanted to see if by any chance Merlin was missing an eye because I never ever heard of him missing an eye, and I actually jumped online and they were saying that there's a show in BBC TV series Merlin. The character Merlin is depicted as having a noticeable empty eye socket, suggesting he is missing an eye.
And there goes
You
the
know,
theory that they came from the Celts.
yes. So it starts to connect because like I said, in this real life, real story is, ever since I've been to that Druid, cemetery, they embraced me, and I've been getting gifted. And when I say gifted, I'm taken to places, where stuff like this does arise. But that time that I did have that Odin ring, Rowan, I was like, it makes no sense. Why are they presenting themselves with me? And I had an Odin ring, and needless to say, I wish I knew where it went. Just like just like our crystals and other stuff. Once it's utilized, it's gone. You know, and,
So
and that was a mind-boggling.
Hood had asked if I've seen 2 moons. So I really honestly can't recall, but I pulled a card. We got another 7. We got the 7 of Swords. And we have the sun up there, but look at this. There's the moon in the background. I'm thinking like this clearly is associated with the recent solar eclipse. But we got, tonight has been 7s. It's literally been 7s all night. The card I started out with, because I pulled a card to start the reading with, and it was the 7. It's a night of 7s. So we have a very divine message with this 7 coming out. Very intense. But that is a beautiful pen, Azrael. How cool is that? And see, we have a lot of different religious and spiritual practices have a tree of life, so to speak. So that's also really interesting. And archaeologically, it is thought of that everything does originate from Judaism, from the Kabbalah tree of life. That is archaeologically what a lot of people have said. However, I tend to wonder if the tree of life from the Germanic tribes is older, because that belief was there for a very long time, and there's slight differences. So I mean, you know, like it's a mystery.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, from one of them. And it's funny that you say that because Azrael, before you were on, the card I pulled for the energy for tonight, it's the 7 blessings of Eve. And when I pulled it, I was talking about the snake and how the snake gave us the wisdom, and that's why we have this bright sun here. And that is the wisdom from the tree of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's all like everything tonight is
Yes,
synchronized.
yes.
Talking about Lilith, talking about Lucifer. I mean, like, yeah, it's all synchronizing. And hooded, 7 in numerology is mystery, spirituality, introspective, and intuition. And we just had this solar eclipse. The solar eclipse is literally divine coming to us and bringing us wisdom. So we need to be open to this wisdom. This wisdom is coming to us right now. We may not understand the signs that we have seen. Like Azrael says, write things down, right? You have to write it down because you may not understand it right now, but you will understand it. So like if you're seeing like a lot of coyotes or a lot of white birds or robins or whatever it is, write it down. We are getting divine wisdom. It can come in numbers. It can come in symbology. We may actually hear them. We may be using our clairaudience and hearing them. So it's write it down, write it down. And like tonight, look at how many 7s we've had. Almost every reading that when Bryn was on and we were pulling cards together, almost every reading had some association with the number 7.
Another thing too, it's good to write stuff down is because decoders, we do get decoders down the road, and different ways you can interpret it. Or that 7 could be the decoder for something else of wisdom that you're going to gain or something, and that 7 is going to answers to the side.
Yeah, it's a spiritual download.
That's might be.
Yeah, but we've gotten the 7 of Cups a couple times. We've gotten the first reading Bryn and I even did. We both got the 2 of Cups, so that was like pretty intense. Yeah, I was just surprised that we both weren't wearing the same color shirt. So we did that a couple weeks ago. We both had a light blue shirt on, and so the synchronicities are there. But yeah, it's like, and I mean, Azrael, I talked about it a lot when we were pulling tarot when he took my tarot class, and I talk about it quite frequently in my classes. Even when I do meditations, after I lead a meditation, I tell everybody, write down what came. You're getting it for a reason, even if you cannot interpret it right now. You might interpret it in a day, a week, a month, a year, 10 years, but you will interpret it at some point. So it is really important to write this stuff down because you can go back. If you've written it down, you can go back where sometimes we may not remember.
Mm-hmm.
And then we need to be reminded by somebody else. But sometimes too, what we write down, it might be a message for somebody else, a new person that you bump into, and it might be the purpose of why your connection is me and made, and now you have something in common, and your bond becomes a lot more intense, and more secure, and, like keys. And it's surprised that you didn't talk about Hecate keys, stuff like that. I think you have that book. There's a book that they have called the Hecate keys.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, by Laura Brennan.
I'm just saying,
And that is one of her symbols.
Mm-hmm.
These are one of her symbols.
Yep, I collect keys a lot, and I put it on her altar every single time.
Yeah, a lot. And if you work with Hecate, whenever I see a key, because I do work with her, I'll be like, all right, what is she sending me? She's sending me the key to some wisdom that I need to unlock.
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody else wants a reading, please feel free. You can type general or type a question in. I'll pull cards, but we are also having discussions. It's been a really interesting night because 7 has been showing up quite frequently in our polls tonight. So it's really exciting, actually. And if you're not following any of us, please make sure to follow. And don't forget to like. We're at 5,000. Let's see if we can get up to 10. So yeah, I'm just kind of looking. Yes, it is a very beautiful night tonight. So
It's funny that Ezra says that he used to wear the Odin ring. Is that because I'm currently wearing right now on my receiving arm, where my receiving hand is at, I'm wearing Fenrir's bracelet. And it has a wolf on it. I can show it to you guys right now. Hold on.
By odd chance, this month my workshop I'm teaching is on Norse magic. So, and I've just been letting you guys flow with it. But yes, I am teaching a workshop on Norse magic.
See?
Ooh, fun.
See the wolf on it?
Yeah, that's cool. Go ahead, Azriel.
That I admire it.
Yeah. And then there's some moonstone right next to it too.
So I went in January. I was out in Utah visiting my family, and I was staying with my brother. And around the corner from his house, well, around the corner, it's like many blocks, maybe 20 blocks around the corner from his house. I was like, that has to be a witchcraft store. It was called the Conjuring Tree. So I'm like, I'll go see if it is. Sure enough, and the owners, they happened to practice Norse magic. So I was like in my element. It was just an amazing shop. So if you're ever in the Salt Lake area, it's in West Valley and it's called the Conjuring Tree. It's off Redwood Road. Fabulous shop. The owners are just amazing. I just like whenever I meet really cool people in the community, I like to give them shout outs when I can. But yeah, if you're into Norse magic, they have, you name it, they have it there. So, which is really cool.
Yeah. I used to have a shop out here where I'm at, and they closed down because of rent was going up. But I used to buy a lot of things from them as well. They had good things, so I enjoyed that.
Yeah. I would love to open a shop, won't kid ya, but it is like rent is really expensive. So so I have my little online shop, but yes, I do like in-person events. Like I'll be in Theosophy again this year. So I love doing the oddities market too, so that's really fun to do. So
yeah. I always wanted to go to other festivals or any festivals that's kind of witchy and all that. I always want to go to one of those.
Yeah, anybody
So I can
in
meet
Chicago,
real people.
Yeah, sorry. If you're in the Chicagoland area, we do have Pagan Fest in September. So it's usually like the third or last weekend.
Nice. Cause I'm in California. Nothing very much happens out here for us witches out here. But
Oh, you have a bigger community out there than you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're hiding. They're hiding. I just need to keep on looking.
No, have you heard of Matt Alren?
Yes, I have one of the books of him. Of them.
He's out there in California, and he does do a lot of classes out there, like live classes. So follow him on social media. But I'll tell you, we went to California last year for vacation, and I always wear my pentagram. So we're at the Sequoia. We're in the Sequoia National Park, and we're getting food at the park district. And the girl who's ringing us up, she goes, I'm a witch too. And her and I just sat and talked because it wasn't super busy because we went in October. But she's like, oh yeah, like if you go, like, so she was telling me all the places to go. We ended up spending so much time in nature, I didn't go to any shops. But there's actually a bigger community out there in California than you might know.
Yeah, I might have to just keep on looking around to see if I find some. Well, I went to this one Fae ball, like I dressed up as a dragon for this really pretty ball, right? And I was wearing, I think, one of my necklaces, but I hit it off with three girls who was like into the supernatural, like I was, and they're like, "Hey, do you know the cabin that you just went into is haunted?" I'm like, "Really?" She was like, "Yeah, it's haunted and all that. This haunted on this grounds are really haunted." And I was like, "Oh, really? So we're on haunted grounds?" And they said they always use a pendulum to contact the spirits with it. I'm like, I use my own pendulum too. And that's how me and the rest of them clicked off by hanging out with each other by by um by outside on a bench and all that. And we were just like talking about different other haunted places and all that. And I'm like, yes, I found my people.
Yep. And it takes, well, just like I'd said earlier, for those like on panel and those that are here live with us, your teachers and your group, your tribe or your hive will come to you when they're supposed to. And once it comes, it comes. So all of a sudden, then you find out our community is very small. So at first you're thinking there's no one in the community, but then like almost everywhere you go, you're running into somebody in the community. So
pretty much, yep.
Yeah, there's and you'll have lots of different teachers. I mean, I teach classes. It doesn't mean you have to take class from me. I'd love if you took class from me, but there's lots of amazing teachers, and I've learned so much from so many amazing people in the community. So take advantage when you find somebody who teaches, because we can learn. And that's also like what these spiritual panels, I mean, we can learn a lot. There's a very beautiful spiritual group here on TikTok. So regardless of if you are a pagan or a witch, the spiritual community here is completely amazing.
Oh yes, I really love the community. I'm like, yes, finally somewhere I can belong, you know?
So with that, we've been going for about 2 hours, but I'm trying to get on a sleep schedule. Like I've been staying up so late, and then I like only get 2 hours of sleep before I have to wake up for work. And
I'm a night owl. I stay up all night.
Well, that's my problem, but I'm weird. I like to stay up late, but I like to get up early so that I can get my regular day job done. So it's a problem.
Yeah.
So it becomes a big problem, but I'm gonna let please don't forget to like that. We're at 8,000, so give me some likes before we leave. But before we leave, Azriel, do you want to share anything? And what is your live on Thursday?
No, quite yet. What's going to be on Thursday? But what were you asking? What was the other question?
If you want to share anything before we go.
No, maybe also, for Linda, maybe, communities. There might be communities on your local area, whether it's on TT or even Facebook or one of those places. You got to have people around there,
Yeah.
The more individuals you meet or you work with, like, Rowan is a good teacher, and she does have a website. She does have classes, and she's actually having a book reading on Sunday, a book club. As a matter of fact, I got a picture of the book here, and maybe that's something you could do is drop in and take a listen, and just see, if it resonates with you, and she could probably definitely be a good mentor for you, especially to lead, to know the pros and cons and stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm looking for.
Keep looking for it. But yeah, I was actually talking to one of my students, and she said to me, she goes, "What I love about you is that you still continue to teach classes. You didn't say that you're done learning." And I'm like, I'm not done learning. Like, there's so much I still need to learn. And I haven't even barely, I have literally a list, and I wrote the list like a very, very long time ago of other aspects of magic that I wanted to learn. And I haven't even touched half of it, because once you start diving into certain things, you keep finding new things, and I need to learn this and this. So there's a lot to learn. So lots and lots. And there's a lot of amazing teachers, but thank you, Azriel. I really appreciate your shout out.
Yeah, I'm looking for it. I don't think I have a picture of it, but it's that one book that you have that you're reading. I know I saved it. I had a copy here.
Anatomy of the Spirit by Carolyn Myss. And
Mm.
yes, Jackie put, we're never done learning. And that is so true. We are never done learning. We
Yep.
have so much to learn. And again, like this spiritual community here on TikTok, there's so much we can learn. What's really fabulous is when you have a spiritual path, you can take what resonates with you and what doesn't resonate. You can kind of take a note of it, or you can just throw it out. Because our path is our path. And I really want to stress this. You are your own spiritual guru. You do not need a guru to follow. Like, you can have a teacher and a mentor that you can take classes from, but it doesn't mean that their word is God, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're your own spiritual guru. You know what you need to grow and be happy, and not everybody needs to. And when you have that in mind, as you're going and you're finding teachers and you're taking classes, you can take what you need and you're going to grow from it. And you may find that, I mean, I have a couple teachers that I outgrew and I stopped taking classes from them because I was like, I've outgrown you. I mean, my first Wiccan teacher, very, very sweet person. And I learned a lot from her, but I've now outgrown, like, and she even said to me one time, she said, you've surpassed me in your magical knowledge. It does happen. So yes, thank you everybody. We hit 10K. Fabulous. Thank you. I really appreciate it. It's going to bump me up. So, because I'm still a baby TikTok channel.
I needed to hear that because throughout my path, I've been following people's opinions, saying like, oh, you need to do it this way, you need to do it that way. And a lot of people are like, don't follow people who's going to do that to your path. It's your path, not theirs.
Yes, it's 100% your path. So that's why a lot of times I try to say, in my opinion, and honestly, I have grown so much in my own spiritual path and my evolution. I look back and I'm like, wow, I've grown so much. And you'll start to see this even from when I first met Azrael. I've grown, and I know Azrael's grown. And I mean, I'm just going to say this, and I might sound egotistical, but I think like both Azrael and I are like, we are so ascending. And I love where we're going. I mean, we have a long way to go still, but we have ascended pretty far, I think. So.
No, thank you, Tenna.
Yes, we have some beautiful things. Yes. And don't ever like, if somebody wants to argue and judge you over your spiritual path, and thank you so much, Jackie, for the hand heart. Our spiritual path is so sacred to each of us, and we shouldn't be judged. I mean, this was one reason I left organized religion, was because of the judgment.
Dang.
Even if you read the Bible, I mean,
yeah.
Like in Matthew, Jesus literally says to Matthew, love one another. Like, take that. Like, that's what this life should be. It's not judge people. It's not. Ooh, look at that. You got some cool treats there, Azrael.
Well, this was from the other night, But what? Another thing too is the more open you are, the more further you will actually excel. If you tend to stay hidden, it goes against you. But the more you're open with it, you will realize that because you're authentic to who you are at the end.
Yes, that's why. Like when I actually started my spiritual path, and I looked at a lot of different organized religions and spiritual paths. And when I first went, I mean, the biggest thing we see is Wicca. And one of the first things when you say, I'm going to look into witchcraft, a lot of people will say Scott Cunningham, and his books are based on Wicca. And he's very, like, it is sad that he unalived so soon because, I mean, he did so much for the community at he was like in his mid 30s. So he was very young when he unalived. But, his path was based on Wicca. And so then you start falling under that the Wiccan teachings, but Wicca didn't 100% resonate with me because there were still a lot of rules. And I'm like, And see, that's why, like, I try to say, hey, Be your own spiritual guru. Follow your own path. Be your authentic self. And it is hard to be your authentic self, but it's important to be your authentic self.
Mm-hmm.
You will not be happy if you're not. So if somebody tells you you have to wear white and you're like, but I want to wear purple, wear purple. You know?
Right? Exactly. Because I,
So,
because I've been judged over time. I really have
Ro-
been.
Rowan, what time is your for the moon on Thursday? What time is your moon live?
At 9:30 p.m. Eastern, so 8:30 p.m. Central.
Yeah, that was for Tina. She was asking for it. I know it was Thursday. I was
Yes,
just
so I'm trying to be consistent, so it will be 9:30 Eastern on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sundays. So yes, so if you're in California or Oregon, it will be 6:30 p.m. your time.
Yep.
So not too late, not too early, just a little late for those of us in Central and Eastern.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Tina, for putting that up there. So yes. So Linda, anything you want to end with?
I want to end with just embrace everyone your own path and all. Since that's the word for today, embrace your own path. Embrace your own path and all. And be you.
And I'm just going to say, everybody who's been here, it's a 7. There's mystery, spirituality, intuition, and introspective. We have messages all in 7s. So embrace it. Embrace the wisdom. Write it down, because if you don't know it today, you might know it tomorrow or next week or next month.
Oh, I have in the past I predicted my friend's pregnancy. And because I had this one oracle deck, and it was like insight, and it had like all the love messages on there, and the pregnancy card kept flying out for her, and she was like, I'm not even pregnant yet. What are you talking about, Linda? I'm like, I don't know. And then later on in the road, she expected her third or fourth child, and I'm like, see, there we go. There goes me predicting things now. So I was like, oh. So I'm getting good with the cards. I'm getting good with them.
And never doubt yourself. Like, like we all do it. We all do it. We can be our own worst enemy, but go with your gut instinct, what you think of first. That is, like, if I can give any advice, and take it for what it's worth. If you don't want to use it, it's completely fine, but follow your gut. That's your intuition.
Yep. Yep. I've been told that too. Don't second guess it.
Yep.
Don't keep asking the same question to make sure it's correct and all, because you might get something really different.
Actually, a lot of people do that, especially when they ask for tarot readings. They will ask the same thing over and over, and just because you asked it, it's not going to happen again. So
yeah,
it's not going to change. Like, when we get our message, we get our message. So we have to take that message.
Mm-hmm. So I'm learning not to do that all the time. Learn not to do that all the time.
Yep. It's hard. It's hard, but we all are amazing. We're all divine.
Most definitely.
All right. Well, everybody, I'm going to say adieu. So, thank you, everybody who's joined panel. If you're not following myself, Azriel, or Linda, please make sure to follow us. I'm live Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. And I'm going to do, if Azriel and Linda, if you want to say goodbye before I do my usual goodbye.
everybody have a great evening and a good night, and just stay positive, and just like you stated, because if you change your thoughts, you're actually showing yourself that you can actually not be able and capable of doing stuff. But when you actually allow yourself to resonate with your beliefs, they will manifest. It takes time. We're not all experts at one, in the start of it, but eventually things will become a lot more easier. We do talk about different things here on the community and different aspects, but that's all to allow you to know that we are powerful individuals. We're very, very gifted, and we're stripped away from it because number one, we don't use our imagination and actually give ourselves credit. So that's all I got to say. Oh, and I did want to add what my life for Thursday is going to be. I'm contemplating if I was going to do it or not because I'm very tired, but it's actually going to be the reflections of reality, and then actually it's going to be exploring the esoteric knowledge and metaphysical wisdom in through the looking glass. Alice in Wonderland, the looking glass. So
Mm.
reflections of reality. That's what the topic's going to be.
Ooh, fun, 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 fun. And so my live ends and we all get to run over to Azrael's live from my life. So we'll get to talk about the moon and then ooh, we're going to have fun.
Yeah.
Because the moon is a reflection of the sun.
Mm-hmm. That's why in tarot it says mysterious. When you see the moon comes out in the tarot cards, it's always mysterious.
It is. So Linda, anything you want to say before we say goodbye?
Well, I wanted to say I'm glad to be up here, glad to be talking with you guys and all, and I also want to say have a mystical day.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. So I want to thank Azrael and Linda for coming up on panel tonight. And thank you everybody who is here joining live. I hope to see you Thursday when we talk about the moon and the beautiful moon energy before we go to Azrael's live with reflections. How fun is that? And thank you everybody who gave gifts tonight, to everybody here on panel and myself. And thank you for the hearts. I absolutely appreciate and love it so much. So as always, merry meet, merry part, bright blessings, and namaste.